Welcome and thank you for tuning in. I am Justice LaRue, and you are tuned in to SableCast, where we highlight minority owned businesses and non for profits across the nation, bridging the gap between business and lifestyle using education, financial literacy, health, and wellness. Today in the building, we have owner of top tier contracting, co owner, DeAngelo Ball, and partner who is not in the building today, James Milton. How are you today?
I'm well. I'm well. I'm blessed. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be in the presence.
Glad to have you here. So let's get right into it. Tell us who Mr. DeAngelo Ball is.
Good question. I am a father of four, first
Okay.
and foremost. It's one of my. It's the thing I take most pride in, being a father. I'm a man that come from a background of insurance. Went to school for computer programming. Didn't work a day in that field. Found the first job that paid me decent to take care of my two oldest kids. Worked in insurance for 11 years. Went from commercial claims to litigation to aviation underwriting, and ultimately worked for a firm that was didn't fit me culturally,
Okay.
and found an opportunity through a friend to get into real estate. In that opportunity, I was just grasping for something, grasping for a little bit of work. I had lost my job. That was the first time I was unemployed for like 4 or 5 months. And from that opportunity, worked for an investor and kind of made my way through the rankings. And ultimately, that led me to start my own business.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the path that it took trying to figure out what it was?
Yeah, good. Yeah. So it was a winding road. So when I first stepped into real estate, I basically was just doing showings. I was a leasing agent. I was doing leasing for this investor, and the investor was out of state. They needed really just somebody that was responsible, reliable to manage a large portfolio. They didn't say that at the time. They were actually looking to pack up and leave St. Louis, but they found me to be reliable and just work hard. I worked my face off. I worked
Okay.
my face off for like 6 months with like low pay.
Oh, wow.
And then what I found is that they needed construction crews, and they needed someone to find some people that were willing to work, do a good job, and be willing to get paid 28 days, up to 28 days after they completed the work. If you know St. Louis construction, like especially minorities, like people trying to get paid before they start working. They need a deposit. They need money that same day. As soon as I get done with this task, I need money right away.
Yeah.
So what I didn't know was like how strong my network was, and I didn't know how strong my family was. And I want to give a big shout out to my brother DeAngelo Ball with Ball Family Heating and Cooling. I brought him in, brought a team in, and off the strength of my relationship with him, I learned how to begin to really manage construction crews. You know, I came in green, didn't know nothing about nothing, and I came in with a humility and an attitude. And basically, you know, to answer your question, like what landed me in the role of just managing construction was I learned that I was good at relationships, and I just followed like what I felt was my strong suit. I was, you know, I had six, you know, I brought on 4 crews for this contractor. We were completing 10 rehabs a month, and I was leasing these places out. And so I just followed where success seemed to be taking me, where I was doing well at. And then, you know, mixed in that was I had resources, family resources that, you know, also my uncle who's now passed away, a few months ago, Daryl Ball.
Sorry to hear that.
Super handy guy, and I was able to lean back on their expertise and also, you know, get these projects completed. That took me to a track of, hey, you know, I can probably do this on my own. And so I started my first company, Catalyst Contracting Service. My first year, I was working full time for the investor, started my stuff on the side. My first year, I grossed in revenue about 145,000, which I didn't know was excellent for somebody doing this not even full time. And at that point, you know, I realized that I'm onto something. So it was really the success and what I thought was my skill set shining that led me to it.
Okay. All right. So you're in a position, you see that this company needs this, you go full forward. how do you and James get involved?
Yes. So I had a partner that I was working with Catalyst. He was kind of a silent partner, and I need to shout him out too, Dion Cryer.
Shout out.
This my guy. Like we actually in business now. We started a new company, so I have two other companies that there's one is launching now, and
Okay.
the other is get taking stride. But Dion, he's an electrician. He was a major piece with Catalyst, the company I was with. So me, Dion, and James happened to go to church together.
Okay.
So friends, good friends. We've talked about, we talked about being in business, creating our own autonomy. James, he was a project manager, so and he's a master carpenter, so he's just skilled, to the max. Dion, master electrician, 20 years, skilled to the max. And so it just felt like it made sense for us to take what we already kind of had, with Catalyst and James already, he's had his own side stuff he did to just come together and be a force.
Okay.
So we met through talks at church, and then we just said, you know what, let's rebrand, let's recreate, let's start Top Tier. And Top Tier was the name just to exemplify that level of service we want to bring to the industry. We felt like people can do work. You're either going to do work at a high level and have kind of crappy service, or you're super great with service, but your work is mediocre. So we wanted to really bring both those things together in the remodel space.
Okay. Well, I know in minority businesses, that's really what you already come in expecting, unfortunately. So what makes you different? What do you do that's different with having good service and good customer service? Because I think that is it's a must with having companies, but not everyone has that.
Yeah. So a couple of things, one, like, it's weird because in construction, there are certain skills that don't intersect,
Right.
it seems like, right?
Yeah.
Like, if a guy is super, particular, methodical about his work, and he knows how to line these cabinets up just right and, put this project together, typically, like, they're not the most communicative person.
Right.
And then, flip side, a lot of guys that, that probably sit in my seat who can converse well, bring a team together, create a company culture, and even do admin stuff, which is, that skill that doesn't really intersect. Those two need to pair. And so,
Right.
the big problem, so I think the biggest problem is that a lot of guys want to be a one-man show. And they don't see the value and the importance of building a team. That's the biggest, to me, that's the biggest thing. If you have a team and you can see where and you acknowledge deficits and you can, like, put something together with it, then, like, that makes all the difference. So back to your question, like, one thing we've done was, like, we've created a sales cycle. So we know when you first come in, when we first get a inquiry, up until we've walked out your house, we've cleaned up, and, you've paid us for the service, we asked you for a survey. All the steps between that, we've captured, we've, systematized, so to speak. So I think that is missing not only in the minority space, but in the remodel space altogether. So that's one of the things we took great pride in, of saying, like, what does it look like to do an excellent job on paper, before we start this project? I think that's one thing that set us apart. We didn't see that enough. One thing I sought out was mentorship, and I got a lot of good stuff, from people. But, like, that piece, we had to really find our way and find on our own.
Okay. So good. It sounds like you had to build a team and just really find out the good people, the best people for the positions that you were looking for. Can you tell us or explain how you were to do that? Was that hard? Was it,
It was everything.
It was everything?
I feel like if that's like the commodity, whatever success Top Tier has, it's on the back, it's behind a lot of people, my partner James Milton, Dion, who came in and we've set up something else with him. James' wife, Casey, he has a strong backbone, strong support, his wife. I got a virtual assistant, Christy Troop. She's been instrumental. it was a lot of trial and error, though. It's a lot of like meeting people, coming together, connecting, having conversations, stepping foot in the business space, and letting it blow up. You know, letting people, seeing it not work, and then maintaining a relationship and a conversation and integrity, and moving forward. So I think what happened is we came in and saw a lot of deficits. We saw, hey, we're not the best in whatever we weren't good at. Hey, we need an admin. Like, I have a background, but I didn't know what I didn't know, and so I needed someone that was good at creating an HR protocol. I needed somebody that was good at grant writing. Good at creating our website. There were so many things I wasn't good at. The crazy thing was that we found that in one person.
Oh, wow.
This lady, Christy, and if she's listening, big shout out to you, Christy.
Shout out.
That's my girl. She was a resource center, and whatever she couldn't do, she brought to the table.
Okay.
So she was big, so she is big for us.
And how did you meet Christy?
We met Christy through, interesting thing. I think when you provide value, it comes back. I link with a group called Tribes Building Trades. So shout out to Francis Holmes, to Brianna Allman, to Simona Charles, the brainchild for a nonprofit that basically wanted to bring resources to the trades. And they saw me as a guy out here moving and shaking, and they brought me on board. And from that, I just made great relationships. We created networking events. We created resources. We just gave a lot of stuff out to tradesmen to try to help them grow, start, or scale up. And in that space, I got introduced to Christy.
Gotcha.
So I met her through that effort.
Okay. So it sounds like your company is integrity based. You built a strong team. I know you did say that you are also religious.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you feel religion is important or in the business industry?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think, for me, my faith informs me. It informs me of my decision. It informs me of who I am. A big thing for me is whatever I do, like, I operate in whatever I do knowing, like, I answer to someone. My words answer to someone. What I do in secret answers to someone. And so, I think that has been like the thread between me and all my relationships.
Gotcha.
In terms of them seeing what they need to see in me, and just trying to operate, moving like in a way of wisdom. Yeah, so my faith is is the lens I look at business through.
Okay.
I do business through I believe in relationship. I do business relationally, and so a person will have to be the best at whatever they do. But if we can function well, and there's an ease of doing business, and that's my mantra, right? Ease of doing business. If there's an ease to it, as my partner would say, if James was here, if it gives me the warm and fuzzies, like, we can proceed. And the same for you, right? The same for the other party. So yeah, faith that's for me, that's critical.
Okay. All right. Now, we have the business started. What was it like to have your own business, running it? What is the schedule of a business owner, a minority business owner of a contracting company?
Our timing was crazy. We started our business February 29, 2020. This was a leap day, whatever you call it. Next month, pandemic hits in full throttle. Everything's shut down. I left my company. I jumped into this at this point, pretty much full time, and it was just a lot of uncertainty. We didn't know what we signed up for, because at this point, people are going home. You can't walk in someone's home.
Right.
You can't do rehab projects, quote unquote, right? So we didn't know what the market was. We didn't know where the market was trending. What we discovered was that as people were coming home, and as we had to wear masks and these mandates, they wanted the house to look good. So what turned out to be this turned out to be a blessing.
Okay.
We end up getting a lot of business. So, like for us, well, for me, a typical day is in construction. Like you're starting early. You want your guys on site early. You want to be gone before the sun is down. Within a reasonable time. So we're talking. I'm up. I wake up about 6:30 every day. I wake up. I do some meditation. I got a planner before me. I drink a tea.
Okay.
I look at my schedule. And then we make calls. Me and my partner, we do a quick powwow. We call it a powwow. We run through, all right, what's the schedule look like? And this is what the biggest part of managing construction well is management, managing yourself.
Okay.
And then we send a marching orders to the team. We're a hybrid of in the field. We started off, me, James, and me and my partners, like in the field. We were the guys, doing a lot of the work. Other than I brought on one employee, Bill Gimple. Bill's been with me for 4 years now.
Okay.
Love him. He's just been a loyal guy.
Shout out.
Yeah, crazy knowledgeable, knows his stuff, super independent, reliable. But we came into it with him and our guys, and we were just, we were in the field working, and it was just crazy days. I mean, you're working on a project, then you're at home, you're back in the office, which was our home office at the time. We have an office now that we've built out. Doing invoicing, admin work, marketing. So our days early on was 10 to 12 hour days, typically, 5-6 day work weeks. 5-6 day work weeks. So we're talking, 7:30, 8 in the morning to, I get home any given night, 7:30, 8 o'clock any given night. So.
Okay. All right. So as an entrepreneur, business owner, a lot of people always feel I want my own business because they don't like the schedules that they have. I don't want a 9 to 5. I don't want a 9 to 5. Not knowing that you're going to be working way more than a 9 to 5.
When I tell you, like, I want to shout this on the mountaintops, like, entrepreneurship is not for everyone.
It is not.
And
agree.
even more so, it's not for most people. It's not for most people. As an entrepreneur, I admire people that have balance. They got their 9 to 5. They, as a father, they can come, like they'll come home, send their kids to soccer, send their kids to gymnastics.
Exactly.
Their job they left the job and it left with them. It's where they left it. And they vacation when they want to, when they will, and they're on their vacation, and there's this balance. I admire that as an entrepreneur. Now, I've signed up for what I've signed up for, and I love it, to death. But I do think that it's oversold, and so in social media and in society, what entrepreneurship really is about, because it's really grueling work. It's really, you get out here, kill the cattle, drag it back home by all means every day. It's very much like, because people think I don't answer to somebody. No, you answer to these customers. You answer to clients, and they probably are more. They can be more demanding than your boss. It's certain ones, and you don't really have you have autonomy, quote unquote, right? But it's almost a myth because my vacation time, I'm texting, I'm answering calls, I'm doing business.
Right.
My off days, I'm working a little
Aren't
bit.
really off days.
Yeah, they're not really off days. So, but so in my world, there isn't balance, but there is healthy rhythms. If I can manage myself well, I can create a healthy rhythm, and with that rhythm, and there's autonomy. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm a big proponent for people that do it. That's for them, that figure it out. It's an amazing thing. For those that don't, it can crush you.
Yeah. So it brings me to my next question. As far as, I know you said that you do meditation, things like that. As an owner, you really don't get really an off day. What is your process to be able to relax and to have a off day, whether it's physically or mentally? Because being a business owner or not, you're human and you need to relax. So how do you do that?
So I live off my schedule. I do what is called time blocking.
Okay.
So I time block everything. And what I've learned to do is time block my self-care. And so me and my partner were big about this. Like Friday, he's like, "Hey, self-care day." My partner went, got a massage. He probably got a stretch. He works out. You know, he works out every morning. I've been working out. What I didn't say is I do get up and work out. I don't know why I didn't say that, but I get up and work out in the morning too. But for me, it's just time blocking my self-care. You know, so like on my calendar, it's you got to stretch you. You got to go to do your stretch for this period of time. You know, and I might block like a half a day, or like just get it in. But like I'll do it. You know, I'll look at my week and I'll do it like within the week. So it's a rhythm to it. You know, the thing, and I use the word rhythm because it always changes. You know, but I do know I need, within a 2-week period, I need about 8 hours of self-care time. You know,
Exactly.
It just looks different. You know, so that's my process. And then I do take Sundays off. Like I need a day where my phone, like no one can reach me. Like I don't answer to nothing. There's no obligation. This particular day, everything is off the table. So that's for me.
All right, that's interesting. So now we have the business. Top tier contracting is up, it's running. So continuing with the business, keeping it running, keeping the customers happy. What is it like now with the company running? What have you done? What did you need to do? The process. If someone was in your position right now and they wanted to build their own company, are there any things that you would tell them that they need to do or to look out for?
Yes.
Okay.
First thing is get an accountant.
Okay.
Day one. Get you an accountant early in. Get you accounting, get you an accounting system in place. What we didn't learn the first year that really became kind of a nightmare is we had an accountant, like we got an accountant early on, but we didn't know the level of bookkeeping we needed. We didn't know how customized our customer service cycle, our sales transaction cycle was for us. And, it was a lot of cleanup that needed to happen and took a lot of time from us. So I would say get an accountant and learn some basic accounting. You'd be surprised how money flows out of the hands of the mismanaged into the hands of the managed. And you'd be surprised how that part of the business sets you up for open up doors for so many other things. And so like that's a big thing for me. Second thing is I think that's critical. We talked about building a team. Like I can't emphasize that enough. Put some people around you that don't have the skill you have. And to me, in business, you need somebody that's good technically at what the business is, right? Like in my case, my partner James, he's master carpenter, Dion master electrician. Like they know the skill of rehab, right? But you also need somebody that just knows business and relationships and how to and a connector of sorts that can bring people together. Also, you just need like what my mentor calls a bail team. You need a banker, you need an accountant, you need an insurance person, you need an attorney, you need a lawyer. Even if you can't afford this team, talk to some people, show them your vision, like, set a relationship up so that when you get some money or something like that, you can pay them. But like that's a necessary investment to me, pretty much any industry. I would say that. I would say for me, like try to like track everything that you do in terms of process. Like right, like I don't think we, especially in our community, we don't think business as a system enough. But everything is pretty much a system. Systematize the steps you take. Write the stuff down. And dare I say, like get an assistant. But you got to work up to these things, So like for us, we came in, we didn't have any capital like that. We put our own money into the business, and we didn't take money out the business much the first year. We didn't take much out. We took a little bit out, and we just had to like find ways to sustain ourselves.
Gotcha.
And like that's the tricky part. Now, if somebody's like not in my position, right? Like let's just say a guy come in, he's a carpenter. He comes in, one-man show, like he can draw like a small amount of his profit, but just basically reinvest into your business. That's what I'm saying. Like just be prepared to reinvest into the business and have goals for these resources.
Gotcha.
Monetary goals to hit these resources. So I think those are like some big things just to get you kind of going.
Okay. That sounds like a good list. So hopefully you guys wrote that down. Make sure you get your pen and paper out. All right. So you said that when you started the business, it was during the pandemic, and you got through that. Sounds like very well. But now, have you had any issues as far as increased costs of materials,
Yeah.
or so what's
Yeah.
what's going on with that?
Yeah, the pandemic has affected that. Like materials shot through the roof, you know. So really, that burden is passed along to the customer. Like, really wasn't our burden to carry. You know,
Okay.
it's like pretty much like this is what's going on. You know, to at the average customer on the average bid increasing 20%, you know, percent.
Okay.
So for us, you know, it didn't really affect that part didn't really affect us. You know, and what we did, like what was a struggle for us was working in like we welcome all customers, low class, middle class, affluent. We found ourselves in middle class to affluent spaces, and the level of scrutiny that comes with that isn't always reasonable expectations, is where where it kind of got tricky for us. You know, there's a little bit of a learning curve for us on how to create an expectation for a client, right? Like, you know, I don't want to get super technical with this, but like, let's say we put your tile down, and it's less than like, I mean, it's a small, you know, it's like misaligned by less than an eighth of an inch. I mean, the smallest detail, right? There's a standard that's like a national standard that says like if it's an eighth of an inch off, that's acceptable. Like, you know, you can't really get perfection in construction. You can get like, you know, some things are going to be a little bit off regardless of how well you try to do it. There might be a small blemish or something like that. And we're talking like in the highest level of workmanship, right? And so what I'm saying is like it became, you know, 90% of our clients, great, wonderful. But that 10% where there was unreasonable expectation that we couldn't manage, like became like for us, like we discovered was a real burden. And I think for that, like, you know, you can go one of two routes. You can really do a good job of trying to interview your client, which is what we've done. We've adopted now, kind of an interview process to say, hey, let's make sure we're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for us. Because I don't think that business owners give themselves enough autonomy in that space to say, hey, you might not be a good customer for us. And
Exactly.
I just, you know, so we've learned that part, right? And I would say, you know, so that's something we've learned along the way. And then also where to find our customer base. Like, so we now are in what I call a sweet spot. We deal with the type of customers we want to, and there's an ease of doing business for us at this point.
Okay. All right. Well, I looked online on your website at toptiercontractingstl.com. And at the bottom of the page, it is the Better Business Bureau, and you have a good score of 4.6 out of 5. Now, as a minority-owned business, tell us a little bit about how you keep that rating,
Yeah.
or what got you there, or the steps that you took.
Yeah. So mentor of mine told us, you know, get on the BBB is pretty important. We didn't know that at first, and a lot of guys don't know that. You pay a
Exactly.
fee, it's like $40-some a month. When you start out in business, it's like, it might sound like it might seem nominal, but when you start on a business, you're like, I'm not trying to take on no expenses I don't have to take on.
Exactly.
And I would say, especially in construction, you name the industry, I would say it's just important. It's critical. So we got on there, and I think we used, like, so before we got on the BBB, we were doing surveys. So we kind of knew, like, we were already doing our own. We went through this site called Home Advisor. It's now called Angie's Lead. So
Okay.
we were already, like, familiar with the survey process, and we knew, like, okay, this is what, and we found out, like, people wanted communication. They don't expect perfection. They want you to just tell them what you're going to do, tell them what you're going to do next. Like, just talk to them, not just at the beginning of the process, but through the process. So with that feedback, we felt armed, you know, to get on the BBB and you know, make a good name, like to get some good ratings. Also knowing that most people, if you, like especially in construction, right? Like if you don't completely knock their socks off and you do just a great job, they're like, okay, that's great. You know, they won't really sing your praises about it unless you ask them to. And so we didn't do enough of that. So I think like
Gotcha.
that's the part where a lot of we miss it a lot. We've definitely missed it a lot. And so with the BBB, with my mentor's direction, like we had to go back to some clients that we knew and say, hey, can you give us a rating? You know, so just ask, asking for that, knowing that this tool is important, and then like just to be transparent, like we messed up on some projects, and for the projects we messed up on, making it right, and making it right, offering the person whatever we can for their inconvenience. And getting and offering them a method to give us feedback. So even if that score isn't perfect, it's real, and it shows like, for me, it's like a journal of it's an entry of our journey. I think that's important for the public to see. But I think what we've done is we've said, hey, regardless of regardless of what happens on the project, first put our best foot forward. First learn from our mistakes, put our best foot forward. Beyond that, give people a voice. And, I think, and ask. And, like, the fact that we've asked for feedback, like, it's got us where we are with the ratings.
Okay. All right. So it is important to have a better business up, running, active. Also, do you have any social media outside of your website, Top Tier Contracting STL?
Yes. Well, you can find us on Facebook at Top Tier Contracting STL. You can look us up there. We're also on Instagram, same handle. So, fully, full disclaimer, I don't manage our social media. I give input to some of it, but, my assistant, she actually manages it. But I'm pretty sure, Instagram should be Top Tier Contracting STL. And then we have a LinkedIn profile. You can look us up as well. We're Top Tier Contracting in St. Louis, Missouri. So, yes, you can find us on social media.
Okay. So make sure you pull out your pen and paper. They are on Facebook and IG. The handle is Top Tier Contracting STL. Also, their website is toptiercontractingstl.com. Now, LinkedIn. A lot of people really aren't hip to LinkedIn. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. We weren't either. We just didn't see the need. We construction company, we're guys with work boots on, and, you find us through word of mouth and referral, so we just didn't think it was necessary. What we found is that as we need to scale our business up and grow capital and, really increase some funding, because we're at a stage now of kind of growth, we realized partnerships want to see you in a more professional setting, which LinkedIn, embodies that. And even just some certain client bases, they want to see that. You want to have a presence on that. So we were heavily advised to get on LinkedIn. And so, we set their profile up.
Okay. All right. So, and what was that LinkedIn?
Top Tier Contracting STL, I believe.
Okay. All right. So everything is the same.
Yeah, it's the same. Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha. Now, you do have an office. That office is here locally.
Yeah, it's in Westport. It's on 124 Weldon Parkway. We actually just moved, so like our site wouldn't even be. It's not even updated. We just got the space. 4 offices, the warehouse in the back, and we just believe that the environment you operate out of, number one, shows your client what type of person you are, but also it also feeds you as an owner. It feeds kind of your work ethic, your headspace, so we felt like it was a good investment for our business.
Okay. So it has not been updated yet. What is the new location?
It's 124 Weldon Parkway,
Okay.
Maryland Heights, Missouri, 63043.
Gotcha. All right. So the space that you got, what made you pick that location?
really, my partner's wife, Casey, like she's a realtor, um, broker now, should I say? She's recently kind of promoted herself. So she's rock star, top 10% in the country as far
Oh,
as a
wow.
realtor. Yeah, she's amazing. She got some connects, and basically, Westport, we believe is kind of a central place for all the places we're conducting business. I mean, we do business in the greater St. Louis metropolitan area. We can be in St. Charles, we can be in South City, we can be in North County, West County. So we felt like this area was central enough for clients. So that's why we chose that area.
Okay, gotcha. So how far have you went for a job?
The biggest distance. Good question. We've been in Defiant. We went to Defiant.
Okay.
Um, that's the farthest. Like we haven't branched out. Like we haven't taken some of the opportunities we could have, which we're somewhere out of state. We did some stuff in Belleville, Illinois. I would say 40 miles out,
Gotcha.
40, 50 miles out. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. So if someone was interested in getting in contact with you, especially to make sure that they are in the area that the company would come out, they would go to either the website, either social media. Do you have an email?
Yes. Yeah.
What is that?
They can email us at info@toptiercontractingstl.com.
All right. info@toptiercontractingstl.com. And do you have a phone number?
Yes, 314-643-6210.
Gotcha. So before we close this out, is there anything that you feel you should tell the listeners about on what to expect? Someone that's in your shoes, someone that's like, oh my God, this sounds like me. I can do this. Something that you wish someone would have told you.
Yeah, first off, I would say you can do it.
Okay.
That's the first thing. You can do, that seed of an idea that's in the recess of your mind, like that can grow, that can blossom into something great. I had no clue of that. Second thing I want to say is the trades are alive and well. They're alive and well. It's not enough. There's a labor shortage. There's a lot of dying out. And a couple of things I would say definitely to some young guys just looking at their futures, right? Number one, the trade market is undervalued and unrightfully so. To come into the trade, to learn a skill, to do what you do well, you can redetermine the value of your service, and the market is experiencing that now.
Okay.
Just as in the restaurant industry, and minimum wage is going up, in the construction industry, you can do a good job and you can ask for a more than decent wage for your work. With that, I would tell any guy that's up and coming, like, hey, learn your craft though. Don't jump off the stoop too quick.
Absolutely.
I see that way too much. Like, and that's the thing. Like, part of my job, I believe, part of my call in this industry is to say, hey, you're not ready yet, bro. You're not ready yet. It's a lot of guys that they'll get a little bit of skill, they'll get a couple of successful projects, and they think, hey, I could be an independent. I can go do this on my own. And they get ate alive, and they come back to the union, the trade, under someone, and they've gotten humbled. And what really can happen is a waste of time. I would say, like, really sit under someone, not only learn your craft, if you're looking to get into the business, like, if you're looking to become an independent, you're looking to learn not just the construction business, but the business of construction. So that's a little bit more learning than swinging a hammer, putting some screws in and drilling. And so I would say to that, get a mentor.
Okay.
And that's where we come in at. So something I didn't share with you is that we're a consultant for general contracting firms, for MBEs, for minority
Gotcha.
business contracting firms. We are right now going through an accelerator program trying to get funding to add to this arm of our business. because we want to stimulate job growth, but we know it doesn't happen under us. It happens under all of the mom and pop shops that want to grow in St. Louis, which is a lot of them, thousands of them. And we believe, hey, if you can put a system in place, if you can learn a business, and if you have a skill, you can do big things, and we can grow this market. So that's something we're passionate about as well. But I would tell the guys, hey, learn your craft. Know that you can demand you can dictate the market more than you know. Get under someone, and be patient.
Gotcha. That's some great advice. So if you have not wrote that down, make sure you write that down. Get your pen and paper, pull out your notes on your phones, and make sure that you get all of this. This is some information that people not just giving out to you, all right? So make sure that you take this in, soak it in, all right? A lot of people don't have mentors. Make this your start of getting a mentor, all right? So once again, if you're just now tuning in, I'm talking to Mr. DeAngelo Ball, part owner of Top Tier Contracting, STL, with partner James Milton, who is not in the building today. Once again, Top Tier Contracting LLC. Top Tier Contracting LLC. Top Tier Contracting STL.com. That is the website, and that's also the handles on all social media. Make sure you hit them up. LinkedIn, Facebook, and also Instagram. All right, so make sure that you reach out to them. They also have a email, info@toptiercontractingstl.com. All right, so make sure you reach out to them. Make sure that you share this live. Make sure that you hit us up. All right, and so until next time, this is SableCast, where we highlight minority-owned businesses and not-for-profits across the nation, bridging the gap between business and lifestyle using education and financial literacy, health, and wellness. If you have a business or a not-for-profit and would like to be a candidate on SableCast, make sure you reach out to us on The Real SableCast on Facebook and all social medias. We have a Instagram too. So make sure that you check us out. Make sure you give us a follow and send us a message. In the message, make sure you give us your contact info and your business info, and we will get back to you. All right. So once again, thank you for tuning in. I am Justice LaRue, and this is SableCast.